What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, this week, the first 3 episodes of Ironheart drop, and we've been referring to this show as the last from an era under Bob Chapek where they greenlit way too many shows at Disney Plus without doing quality control. But there is one other show that was actually put into pre-development in that era that is going to make it onto Disney Plus, and that's the Vision Quest show. Now, originally, the show almost didn't survive. It was in pre-development with different creatives, it got the plug pulled, and we didn't hear about it for almost a year. Then all of a sudden, and according to the Hollywood trades, it was officially back in pre-development, and they also reported that James Spader would officially be returning as Ultron. Now, fast forward a year and a half later to where we are right now, and we've had a ton of details leak out about the Vision Quest series, James Spader's return, what Ultron may look like during the series. We'll talk about why that's important, and then also this breaking news today that Marvel Studios has plans for Ultron's return beyond Vision Quest in the future of the MCU. And the crazy part is, this all leads to a wild theory about Tony Stark's return, how it could possibly happen, and in a week where we're about to have an Ironheart drop that in the comics definitely presented a different take on Tony Stark than maybe some of us were expecting for a multiversal return. We're breaking it all down: Vision Quest, the news about Ultron's return, what's going on with the AIs inside that show, and what it all means eventually for Avengers Secret Wars. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, that's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaways. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this latest series of updates comes from trusted industry insider Daniel Rickman. You guys can follow him over on Twitter at RPK News, and he's probably the most ubiquitous and trusted name in the Scooper game. We've been re-reporting on him here at the channel for almost a decade. Huge Hollywood trades also use him as a source. He indicated this morning in a major update that Marvel Studios has plans for Ultron beyond the upcoming Vision Quest series. Now, while this is super exciting news in and of itself, that Ultron will be sticking around in the MCU for a while, that this won't be a one-off return for James Spader, this actually has a lot more to do with the other scoops that Daniel RPK has been talking about, and multiple sources have weighed in that Ultron is not the only AI that's going to show up during the show. We also know that various other AI characters that have been a part of the MCU, say like Edith or Friday, the creations of Tony Stark, are also confirmed to show up. And what's even crazier, we know this because we know the actors playing them, Emily Hampshire and Carrie Condon. They've already been confirmed for this series. So here you have 4 AIs: Jarvis, Ultron, Edith, and Friday, plus who knows what other characters they're going to include, showing up and during Vision Quest. But it gets even weirder. Apparently, these AIs will all be showing up and during the show in human form. So where you normally think of Ultron as the metal machine with the voice of James Spader, instead, it's just going to be James Spader, just like these other actors and actresses, all in their human form instead of the AI form. And I think this actually reveals a lot about what's going on in the plot, why this is important to get into the Multiverse saga, and then why they would have Ultron sticking around past that. Okay, so first up, obviously there's a Tony Stark connection here we're going to talk about, but the other information that was included in this report was that Marvel made this decision to have them in human form for 2 reasons. The first was to avoid an enormous budget for all the CGI they'd have to do for Ultron, let alone all the rest of the machines. The second was so that they could keep it on a timetable that made it manageable, and they could shoot this series as fast as they wanted to get it out with the Multiverse saga. Those are probably both true, but the reason that they can do that, the reason it's going to be okay to have Ultron showing up as James Spader and not Ultron, because of where and how they're showing up. These characters aren't going to exist in the real life. All of a sudden, Ultron isn't going to be a living, breathing human being. These characters are going to be showing up inside of Vision's head, inside of his own psyche. And while it may appear to be real where he's in the room with these people, they're actually not in the real world. They are AIs that only have physical forms to him because they're a part of them, because he's seeing them inside his head. Now, there might be a little bit of a rub here because Edith and Friday come after Jarvis and after Ultron, but remember, the US government, the same US government that seized the body of Vision and rebuilt him into Spectral Vision, also seized most of Tony Stark's technology, and so there's a good chance that they all got merged at some point when they were making the software for his reboot. That's where Ultron has been lying dormant, and that's where the other Tony Stark AIs all come together and all exist within Spectral Vision. And if you remember, when we last saw Spectral Vision, he had just come to this moment, a Descartes moment, if you will, where he was realizing I am Vision, and also trying to figure out his own identity with a quick conversation with Vision, who's Vision? Oh, that's right, I'm Vision. He takes off, and I'm guessing that all of this self-discovery in sort of discourse with other AIs is going to come at the beginning of the show and pick up right where we left off with WandaVision. Now, why this is important to include in a multiverse saga is those assistants, Edith, Friday, even Ultron, and for sure Jarvis, were all a key part of what Tony Stark built, who Tony Stark was. They were probably closer to him in a lot of cases than a lot of the other living, breathing humans that were in his life. That being said, we're about to enter the end of the multiverse saga where all of a sudden Tony Stark is right back at the center, and the Russos have confirmed that Tony Stark's death has something to do with why Doctor Doom looks like Tony Stark. Now, we may not be getting a Tony Stark Iron Man coming out of a portal from somewhere in the multiverse for the final battle against Doctor Doom, but what we will have is Tony Stark in spirit via all of his AI assistants that are now all a part of Vision. And what I see happening with this plot is not only Vision basically having his own identity forged through all of these other AIs, but helping them also realize their own identity. That's the return of Ultron, and then having those characters as a part of Avengers Secret Wars makes sense, right, when they're battling someone who has now stolen Tony Stark's identity. Now, where am I going with all this? You have AI in Jarvis, Ultron, Edith, and Friday, created by Tony Stark in a crucial moment where they need Tony Stark. Does this lead to them creating the AI version of Tony Stark? The same one that we saw in the comics that helped Riri Williams that they don't have in the TV show coming up this week, but again, that happened in the comics. It was canon. Now, at the channel, we have speculated about an AI Tony Stark returning and talked about the reasons it makes no sense, because you don't pay all that money to Robert Downey Jr. to turn him into a hologram and just have him doing voiceover for the other Avengers. Plus, it presents a problem when, if you have an AI Tony Stark, why wouldn't he just always be present with the Avengers in every battle, in every outing? But they've now circumvented that problem because they're paying Robert Downey Jr. oodles and oodles of money, $150 million, but he's going to actually get to play a role in Doctor Doom. So whereas I thought before a hologram and AI Tony Stark has never made any sense from anybody's point of view in live action, now it looks more and more likely that's where this may be headed, and that's why all of these AIs as a part of Vision are so important, because as created by Tony Stark, they may actually create Tony Stark. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. How hype are you for the return of Ultron? What do you think about this theory? Why are they bringing back all of these Tony Stark AIs, and all of a sudden, why do they need this to be a part of the multiverse saga? You let me know down in the comments quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel. The next one is next week for Ironheart. I guess that's this week. If you want to be entered to win, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the sub button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.